Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about the types of projects that you need to stay away from because these projects will wreck your portfolio. You should know by now that the crypto market is highly unpredictable. A token can be doing really well, but the next day it can crash and become worthless. Over 90% of crypto and blockchain projects actually fail. According to sites like Yahoo Finance, there's about 840 failed cryptocurrency projects since 2017. The majority of them were scams. Of these, the fraudulent projects tend to live no longer than 1 year. And the legitimate ones that don't see success usually die off within 1 to 3 years. You want to know why? Well, it's because many of them are just crap. Why do some crypto projects fail and others actually become very successful? So I'm going to try to tell you why. So number one, if a project lacks a clear vision, no clear plan or goals, lacks use case, and remember, timing is crucial in this space. Timing is always the enemy of new projects. So the most common reason for project failure is a lack of clear vision. Imagine you're on a road trip without a destination in mind. You're not going to get anywhere. So the same goes for a project. Without a clear idea of what it aims to achieve, it's unlikely to make any progress. For example, if a project doesn't have a clear plan or goals, the team won't know where they're headed. And this lack of direction will cause frustration among the community and among the investors, which is going to eventually lead to the project's death. Also, if the project lacks sustainable utility or use cases, it's going to fade out eventually. And as I said before, timing is everything in the crypto space. Some tokens survive because the timing was good. So, example, you launch in a bull market and there's high demand, and other projects fail due to poor timing. Let's say they launch right during the bear market and there's just low demand for tokens. No matter how good they are, they usually don't survive for long. So the best time to acquire valuable projects or tokens is often during bear markets, because the ones that survive have a higher chance of success. While we're slowly moving away from the bear market and entering into a bull market, which I believe we're really close to, it's not too late to invest in promising tokens. One of them was Rune. I spoke about it yesterday. So number two, projects that have an inexperienced team. So another reason why projects fail is due to an inexperienced team. They're basically unable to build a profitable project. They usually make poor decisions, and these mistakes can quickly mess up a project. So ask yourself, are they just creating a project because everyone else is doing it? Or are they actually solving a real-world problem? As I said in my last video, Rune is actually solving one of the main problems in the space, which is cross-chain liquidity. Now, in this example, for inexperienced teams, many developers are trying to solve problems that basically don't exist on the blockchain. For some, there's just no real market or demand for the product at all. Really strong projects are those that address real problems and make the world a better place in some way or another. So number three, if the project uses excessive hype and unreasonable expectations, that's usually a very big red flag. So when a failing project is generating too much hype, too much excitement, it's not always bad, but people just tend to anticipate things that are not realistic at all. So if the project team can meet these sky-high expectations, it will result in disappointment and ultimately the project's failure. So I'm going to give you an example. So take the token Zelda 2.0. I know I spoke about it in my first video that I ever posted to this channel. So this token generated a massive hype with grand promises of revolutionizing the industry in the sense where you can actually help dogs in need, which most people have a soft heart for dogs. So it was basically investing in a token that was going to do some good for the world. Okay? That was the slogan. So there were a lot of influencers that were supposed to push it hard, but nobody ever did. The main developer basically blamed the community for every single problem, and they also promised to blacklist the snipers when they launched the token, but because they were going to front run everyone else, but they only did so after the supposed snipers had already generated significant profits at the expense of everybody else. So when the expected promotion didn't happen the way it was supposed to, and the team just failed to follow through on their promises in a timely manner, the price just slowly collapsed. And it basically just left investors with many heavy losses. And I'm going to go to the chart in a second. And honestly, the best advice in these situations is to approach with caution. Look for projects that have realistic goals, have a clear roadmap, and communicate transparently with their community. Investing in a project that relies on hype alone rather than substance, it's always a surefire way to lose your money. So number 4, if the project has no product release, that's also a clear warning sign that the project is headed for failure. So if a project has been in development for a long time and hasn't produced any tangible product, it basically suggests that they may not do so in the future. This situation raises concern that the project could be a scam, and rightfully so. And usually, I know it sounds very simple and kind of cheesy, but trusting your gut is never a bad idea, believe it or not. So a lack of a working product is honestly a sign that the project's going to fail. It is crucial for the team to demonstrate that they're able to deliver and fulfill their promises. So if there's no sign of progress or development within the first few weeks and months from the team, just be careful. If a project has been silent and hasn't made any major announcements or updates, it's usually a pretty good indicator that the project is about to fail or that they're about to rug, one or the other. It's also concerning if the project team is not actively engaging with their community or isn't visible on social media. And this lack of communication is a sign that the project is in trouble. And lastly, if the project looks too good to be true, it's because it probably is. So, a project is in trouble when the team cares more about making money than building a good product. And this can happen when they get caught up in the bull run hype. They will use tricky marketing tactics like fake partnerships, making unrealistic promises about profits, or spreading fear and doubt among investors. So in the example I gave before for Zelda 2.0, they basically said, oh, we're going to be listed on MEXC, and we have all these other exchanges just ready to go for us. And the listings never came. The promises kept being broken, and nobody trusted, and people started leaving in droves. So when you see these signs, just stay away. Look for projects with a clear vision, honest marketing. These are usually projects that have solid fundamentals and let the product basically speak for itself. For instance, if a project claims it's partnering with a big company, but it turns out to be false, that's a warning sign. Just run away and sell as soon as you can. Or if they promise you you'll get super rich without any risk, just be careful. Good projects always focus on the product and honest communication. If we actually go, because I want to show you this. So if we go to Zelda 2.0, look, this was the chart, right? And everybody was super hyped when this project was going to launch because the original Zelda Inu, some of you may know this, most of you probably won't, but the original Zelda Inu, which was basically the version 1.0 of this token, they basically went, I think it was 150x within just a couple of days, and then it obviously crashed. And then their excuse was basically, and somewhat rightfully so, that the bear market had started, or they were in the middle of the bear market. So they basically, it was a warning sign. They froze trading and they basically removed the liquidity from the contract. So in any case, they basically said, look, we're going to relaunch the project under a new name, and it's going to do much better than the original. We learned our lessons, and we're going to vest whatever amount of tokens you had, or as price-wise, we're going to give you tokens in the new contract. And that promise never came. So when you go back to Zelda 2.0, the hype was pretty high. I want to say the first 2-3 weeks, the hype was real. Token did extremely well. And yes, it did. It basically 250x, I think. But nobody ever got that. I think it was the dev itself that sniped the contract. And basically, only snipers made these crazy gains. But even for me, I ended up getting in maybe somewhere around 4 cents. Something like that. I made some crazy gains. Then I sold somewhere around here. But my mistake was actually rebought. I was expecting this to actually correct itself at some point, but I thought this was the point. And after that, they just started breaking promises, shady tactics, and that was the beginning of the end. So, one last thing on this example. So basically the dev and one of the other main guys that were helping, they basically said, look, we're already rich. We already have a Lamborghini. We don't need this. We don't need to be doing this. Basically acting like they were too good to be there. So, anytime the main developer just disappears or basically just starts giving a bunch of excuses of why things aren't happening, that's usually a pretty clear sign that the end is near. So, lesson learned. Moving on. And one last example. So this project was called Octopus Wallet, right? This project was actually really promising. They actually promised to solve a real world problem, which is basically people getting rugged. They basically said that they were going to release their wallet, Octopus Wallet, that in case you were in a token and there were shady things happening or developers were getting ready to mint tokens or rug everybody else, it would basically sell and protect you from heavy losses. The concept sounded great, and the token did great for a while. Until, guess what? Promises broken, and they just rugged everybody. It went down as much and as quickly as it went up. And that's just crazy. So, these are just two examples. In essence, or I guess you can say, the takeaway from this, always be vigilant and do your own research before investing in any project. Look for those with a clear vision, an experienced team, and realistic expectations, tangible progress, and honest communications. Avoid the ones that raise red flags. Stay informed, stay cautious, and protect your investment. You work hard for your money. Don't let anybody else just take it so easily. At least make them work for it. As always, this is not financial advice, just my opinion. I hope you got some value, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.